The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that doing.
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
If you've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population, this place absolutely outshines it.
It's Friday, the 8th day of May, 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman. How's everyone feeling today? Happy Friday. It is the final day of the traditional work week. Hopefully everyone has had an amazing week. Seriously, hopefully you have had an amazing week. First full week of May, the 5th month of the year. And it's Heritage Month. We haven't even mentioned that. It's Heritage Month. And there's so many things happening right now in the world, and we'll get to some of them, but this new virus that they found on a boat and people are in panic mode, and here come the medical experts all over social media. Oh, this is from getting the COVID shot or this or that. It's a mess right now, isn't it? But I'll tell you, there's always something, President Donald Trump weighing in on the prices of tickets for World Cup. I think it'll be interesting because World Cup was the one thing that outside of the Olympics brought people together, brought the world together, stopped wars. And, it was something everyone got to experience. What I will say is money has certainly ruined so many things. The World Cup, in my opinion, you added more teams, right? For what? For more money. Just like the March Madness announced the other day, they're adding more teams. It's all about money. The NBA went from 5-game series in the first round to 7 games for more money. Money ruins things. And now you're pricing real fans, like real football fans, real people, not soccer fans, football fans, out of the experience. It's weird. It's strange. So you've got people siding with Donald Trump on that. Happens every now and then. And, as I mentioned, the virus, and it's so much going on. But we're going to talk about something for the second day in a row that I think concerns a lot of people. All right. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome the Honorable Minister Owen Darrell onto the show. He's the Minister of Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport. We're going to be discussing Heritage Month. Yeah, Heritage Month in Bermuda. Culture, identity, and why it matters. The daily play is going to be things you should know. Things you should know. Audience, in the meantime, do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. So what was I talking about? And I was actually just finished editing my monologue as we were coming on here. But for the second day in a row, we're discussing yet another story involving a visitor breaking Bermuda's laws. But this one is hitting people a bit differently. This isn't about a minor customs issue or somebody forgetting paperwork. This involves ammunition. And according to reports, a cruise ship visitor from Massachusetts was found with a magazine loaded with 15 rounds in his backpack while re-entering the ship in Bermuda. He told the court it was a mistake, said he forgot it in the bag, pleaded guilty, and was fined $3,000. Now, listen to me. Two things can be true at once. It is possible this was genuinely an accident. But it is also true that Bermudians have every right to feel uncomfortable and angry and even emotional about this situation. Our Bermuda has lived through the pain of illegal guns. Families have been buried sons, communities have been traumatized. Entire neighborhoods still carry scars from gun violence. So when people hear 15 rounds of ammunition, they're not hearing a simple travel mistake. They are hearing something tied to real trauma in this country. And there are questions that people deserve answers to. First, how did the magazine get onto the ship to begin with? What security measures failed before the vessel even got to Bermuda? That should concern us. Because, let's be honest, this one was caught. Should we be concerned that others aren't? Second, why does it feel like visitors sometimes receive lighter treatment than locals? Because many Bermudians are pointing out that people have faced very serious consequences over cannabis offenses, yet ammunition tied to a firearm magazine results in a fine? And third, here's the one many people don't even know about. If this individual is from Massachusetts, and people online are saying over 10 rounds are restricted there, then naturally people are asking, how does someone legally possess a 15-round magazine and then accidentally travel internationally with it? Well, your boy went and did a little bit more digging. And in Massachusetts, a 15-round magazine is classified as a large capacity feeding device because it holds more than 10 rounds. So under state law, it is generally illegal to possess, sell, or transfer such magazines unless they are lawfully possessed on or before September 13th, 1994. Yeah? You with me? Now, magazines with 11 plus rounds manufactured or possessed on or before September 13th, 1994 are grandfathered, but the owner must prove this date. Were these questions asked of the courts? Folks, this is a serious conversation we're having. Again, nobody is saying this man entered Bermuda intending violence. But intent doesn't erase impact. And this conversation is bigger than one visitor. It's about consistency. It's about accountability. And it's whether Bermuda's justice system is applying the same energy across the board, regardless of who you are or where you come from. We must ask, should grace be given for honest mistakes? Or when it comes to ammunition and firearms-related offenses, should there be zero tolerance, no exceptions? Folks, here's your question of the morning. What are your thoughts on the visitor who got caught with 15 bullets in a magazine? Think about that, and I'll have a poll for you in a short break, but give it some thought. This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Alrighty, this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. All right, so just Going some quick points. For the second day in a row, we're discussing a situation with another visitor violating Bermuda's local laws. This case is a bit more serious than yesterday as we were discussing cannabis, as this one is something deeply connected to Bermuda's painful recent history with gun violence. This visitor was reportedly caught with a loaded magazine, 15 bullets in it, in his backpack while returning to the ship. Many Bermudians are asking, how did the magazine make it onto the cruise ship in the first place? What security checks failed before the ship even arrived in Bermuda? Why are visitors often treated differently than locals when sentenced? If locals have faced harsher consequences for cannabis or importation, why does ammunition receive what some view as a lighter punishment? The court accepted that the visitor claimed it was an accident and imposed a $3,000 fine. But people are questioning whether honest mistakes should apply when it comes to ammunition. Another major point, Massachusetts, where this visitor is apparently from, reportedly bans magazines over 10 rounds in many circumstances, yet this magazine allegedly contained 15. So people are asking whether this was truly an innocent oversight. Now, important, nobody is saying that this individual intended harm. No one is saying visitors shouldn't come to Bermuda. But Bermudians have trauma connected to guns and gun violence. Context matters. The bigger issue may be consistency in justice and whether the system treats everyone equally. Is Bermuda sending mixed messages about how seriously ammunition offenses are taken? Should there be mandatory minimum consequences regardless of intent, or should genuine mistakes still receive grace and discretion? Now, I own firearms. I take a lot of precautions. I don't use the same bags for my activities and my tools. Now, I believe genuine, honest mistakes can take place, and it's up to other humans or a judge, a human, to decide whether or not someone thinks someone's being genuine. But here's your poll question, folks. The poll question is: visitors who commit firearm-related offenses in Bermuda should receive 1, grace, 2, the same consequences as locals, or 3, depends on circumstances. So you have 1, if you believe that visitors should receive grace, just press 1. If you believe they should receive the same consequences as locals, just press 2. And if you believe that, it really depends on the circumstances, you can press 3. But let us know your thoughts about this latest situation. Very concerning. Good morning to you, Claire Warner. Good morning to you, Kathy Sumner. Thank you both for showing up. Suzanne Ingham, good morning to you as well. Yes, indeed, it's Sherry Day. It's Friday. Now, let's go to the audience. Ms. Ellen Kate Horton said the visitor should be a guest at Westgate. Yeah, I agree. No, not necessarily. You know what? Honestly, I agree that the visitor should be at Westgate if someone else would have been at Westgate for the same thing, right? However, I want to say this, audience. The biggest concern for me in this entire situation is who is protecting Bermuda on the other side. Who is protecting Bermuda on the other side? That's a big concern to me. Who on the other side was protecting Bermuda's interest in this case? How did they not catch it in the, you get what I'm saying, audience? We've got Suzanne says, Jamel, you do not bring your gun to Bermuda. Well, in fairness, the person had a loaded magazine, not an actual firearm, based on reports, right? And again, mistakes can happen. Someone, let's say a child may put a bullet or something in a bag and when you're not watching. No, obviously there's precautions, right? You want to have a safe for your firearms and your equipment, right? We've got a question. Shawnette Sumner is seeking clarity. Was the visitor getting back on the ship in Bermuda with the loaded gun in his pocket? He didn't have a loaded gun. So for those who are just tuning in, let me just go over some quick talking points, right? So the visitor did not have a firearm. What the visitor had was a loaded magazine with 15 bullets in it. That's what the visitor had. The visitor had that in his backpack, as he said, unknown to the visitor. They came, that same backpack, got on the cruise when coming to Bermuda. They got off the boat in Bermuda with that backpack. When they were returning to get back onto the ship, according to the reports, that's when it was found. All right? So it was not a firearm. It was a magazine. Let me explain. A magazine is what you load the bullets or ammunition with, and then you put it into the firearm. So I'm not going to assume everyone knows what a magazine is. What are your thoughts, though, audience? What are your thoughts on the visitor who got caught with 15 bullets in a magazine, and also the poll? Answer the poll. Visitors who commit firearm-related offenses in Bermuda should receive 1, grace, 2, the same consequences as locals, or 3, depends on circumstances. SKRRTTX2 says mistakes happen. In this case, he should simply pay the fine and move on. I'm currently living in the United States and once mistakenly had a firearm in my bag while traveling through TSA. Fair enough. Dorian says Bermuda customs do not man the gangway of cruise ships on a 24-hour basis. It's easy to get illegal items off the ship. This is not a Bermuda customs issue for me. In terms of how did it get on the boat on the other side? Who's protecting Bermuda from there? That's the question I'm asking, Dorian. SKRRTTX2 says, I carry it daily because of my line of work, and it was an honest mistake. Situations like this always depend on circumstances. Judith Welch says, security stops you for having change in your pocket. I don't understand how a magazine with bullets could have passed security. Well, I mean, I haven't been on a cruise ship in a long time, audience, right? I have not been on a cruise ship in a very long time. So I can't honestly say what security is like getting on a boat versus going through the airport with TSA. I just don't know. We've got Ms. Allen K. Horton says it still should have been found when the person was getting off the ship. I concur. I agree. Again, how was it not caught? You had 2 opportunities when the person was getting on the ship that was coming to Bermuda, when they were leaving the cruise ship to enter land on Bermuda. I think, as I mentioned earlier, there are a few things, and there are necessary questions, and I appreciate the questions people are asking. Let's say this was an honest mistake. This was an honest mistake. I think it's the ones where we caught this. How many do we not catch? That's what I think is concerning. How many don't we see? No, this is it right here, Bermuda Live. Nobody is considering that guns came off the ship too. All the bullets weren't sold. So I think that should concern people. Again, this person may be innocent, telling the truth, honest mistake, but how many that were not mistakes that actually got through? Interesting. Dorian says the ships come from the US. We need to protect ourselves. Well, maybe we need to be like other countries and have Bermuda customs over the other side as well to help protect us then. Yeah, that would be my response to that. Stalin Kate Horton says, well, who is protecting us at home? This is ridiculous. Polly Rich says, who's to say he didn't get off the ship with a gun? Somebody may have not needed the ammo. I concur. I don't disagree. Shika Rana says, cruise ship companies inspect bags for items like irons, hot curlers, things that could cause a fire, and they will remove it and inform you when the bags are delivered to your suite. Michael Daniels says, find the visitor, place visitor on stop list, have authorities waiting on the other side. Folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Let's go to the poll because we're asking in the poll, visitors who commit firearm-related offenses in Bermuda should receive 1, grace, 2, the same consequences as locals, or 3, depends on circumstances. Well, absolutely no one believes that anyone should receive grace. Interesting. 33% of you so far have said that they should receive the same consequences as locals. And 67% of you, have said it depends on the circumstances. I'm going to say I believe it depends on the circumstances. Because honest mistakes happen. And this is not as extreme, but again, I've literally gone somewhere and taken the wrong credit card. And literally had that credit card locked, so couldn't use it. And didn't have the app on my phone to unlock it. So I'm paid for all this stuff and I can't use it, right? Now, again, you're saying, wow, that's different. This is not a firearm. What I'm simply saying is honest mistakes happen. No, yesterday we spoke about the tourist visitors who were fined for cannabis. And they found a bullet in the bag. And said, oh, it's his grandpa's bag. 2 days in a row, ammunition, right? It was a bullet in its bag, but oh, it's my grandpa's bag. I didn't check it. One of the questions they used to ask you at the airport is, did you pack your own bags? Have they been in your sight? Da, da, da. Look, again, if you live around children, especially children like my niece, like they just do everything. You know, they're into everything. You have to take that extra precaution. And I'm not saying this person was around children, but I'm saying we have to take extra precaution. I would hate to believe that a Bermudian, good upstanding, would be treated any differently based on this case. Because there are people who rightfully so, whether this was an accident or a mistake, are going to be doing a lot of comparative analysis going forward. It's not a good look for Bermuda. It's really not. Folks, this was your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Appreciate you all rocking with us. If you haven't already and you are streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We need to make some things clear, though. For anyone tuned in right now, if you are not Bermudian or you don't live in Bermuda and you are rocking with us right now, and the people who are Bermudian in the audience, they will second this. Please know, cannabis, marijuana, Mary Jane, hemp, weed, whatever you choose to call it, it's illegal to import in Bermuda. And under 7 grams is decriminalized. But it is illegal to import into Bermuda. You will be arrested. Again, for all of those tuned in, even if you are Bermudian, live in Bermuda, you may have people visiting soon. I want to say, firearms are illegal in Bermuda. Ammunition, anything to do with a firearm part, they are illegal. Not because we want to criminalize you, but because we want to protect our island from something that has wreaked havoc across our community. Gun violence. Folks, let's show some love to Titan Express and Secure. Don't forget, we've got the Honorable Minister Owen Darrell coming up. It is Heritage Month.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
All righty, folks, it is time for your days of the year. So today, it's No Socks Day. I want to ask you just a yes or no. Do you wear socks during the summer? I did not know until I was living in Rhode Island, and I was in Newport, Bermuda to Newport, or Newport to Bermuda, sorry, Race. And this gentleman's like, he saw me with those ridiculous Bermuda shorts and socks, right? Looking like a clown. And he says, it's summer. Why do you have that on? I'm like, clown suit, it's, Bermuda culture, I guess. But anyway, he said, no one wears socks in the summer. And it was the first time I actually heard anyone say that. Coming from Bermuda, we wore socks, I thought. But anyway, I want to ask you all, mean, obviously, ladies, you wear like the flip flops and stuff like that. But does anyone wear socks or not? Like, do you wear socks during the summer? Yes or no? Do you wear socks during the summer? Yes or no? I do. Because if I'm even wearing like, what's those things called where you don't wear socks? Loafers or something? I don't want my feet getting all sweaty in there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put on those little no-see socks. There's no-see socks. But do you wear socks? It's No Sock Day, folks. It's International No Sock Day. Polly Rich says no. All right. Shikarina says yes. She wears her socks during the summer. All right. Well, alrighty, folks. Let us know. We're gonna take a quick break. After this break, we're back with the Minister of the longest ministry name, I swear. The Minister of Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport, the Honorable Owen Darrell, will be with us. We're talking Heritage Month, folks, so do not go anywhere. In the meantime, make sure you show us some love. Stick with us.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Nautical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
What lasts isn't what you buy, but what it becomes. With the HSBC MasterCard credit card, every spend quietly adds to a story shaped by intention and offers what matters most. Support that meets you where you are. Protection that preserves what you choose. Confidence for the unexpected. Peace of mind wherever your story leads. Start your next chapter. Use your card today. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
What if the age that really matters isn't the one on your ID? You probably know your chronological age, the number of candles on your last birthday cake. But there's another kind of age that may be even more important, your biological age. This reflects how old your body truly is at the cellular level. It is influenced by your genes, your environment, and the choices you make every day. Two people can both be 40 years old on paper, but one may have the body of a healthy 30-year-old, while the other is biologically closer to 50. The difference? Lifestyle choices on nutrition, sleep, stress, exercise, and exposure to toxins. That means you have some control over your biological clock, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because when it comes to aging, it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. Want to know your predicted biological age today? Download the free Carry Genetics app and fill in the lifestyle questionnaire.
I know you want to come get some. Playing around. Playing around. I got this. I got it, no doubt.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Jamal Hartman here. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Alrighty, without further ado, let's give real quickly, let's go through this couple. We've got Shawnette Sumner. We're talking about socks. She says, short sports ankle socks keeps feet from sweating and smelling. Well, I don't like the little sweat thing. So I agree with you. All right, folks, without further ado, let's bring a warm TDH welcome. We've got the Honorable Minister Owen Darrell. We're talking Heritage Month today. Oops, that's not the music we want for the minister. There we go. See, doing him like Cinderella. Minister, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Hartman. How are you today?
Wonderful, wonderful. Sorry about that music. It was an honest accident. But I got to ask you, before we jump to anything, you're pretty out there during the summer with your Cleveland County stuff and all that.
Absolutely.
As a Baylor's big guy myself. But anyway, we're not going to fight this morning. Socks or no socks during the summer?
Absolutely socks. You know, the little invisible ones.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. Because, again, I had never heard of that until I went to Newport, Rhode Island, the Newport to Bermuda race. And this guy had one, what they're called? Docksiders. That's what he had one, Docksiders. And, you know, I had one to Bermuda.
I'm not sure you could wear Docksiders with socks, but I just don't wear Docksiders, so I wouldn't know.
You could wear no-show socks. If
I'm Docksiders? Okay, I don't know.
I can't look. I don't know how people do it. I sweat easily, like I sweat. So no. Anyway, Minister, you didn't come to discuss that. Thank you for stopping by. On
No sock day, but I definitely have one socks. But FYI, yes.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. But it is Heritage Month. May represents Heritage Month for Bermuda, and Heritage Month is always a special time in Bermuda. Speak to us about what this year's theme is, and what messages are you hoping that it sends?
Well, as we know, Heritage Month is always a special time in Bermuda. One of my favorite times of the year, to celebrate our culture. This year's theme is For the Culture. Since I've been the minister, there's been, really punchy, really catchy themes. And, because that's something that I enjoy. Many people will know that I was a social studies teacher for 15 years before coming into this role. So it's something that I know very well, something that's very dear to my heart. And it always allows us to celebrate our traditions, celebrate our creativity, and just celebrate the identity of us as a people. So it's a very exciting time for me, and I know for many others.
And what's the theme this year?
The theme is For the Culture. Now, if you want to be really Bermudian, you could change it and say For the Culture. But there's some of your viewers that are educators, and I'm not sure that as a former educator or as an educator, they would have allowed me to get away with that. So it is For the Culture. And what this does, it recognizes the individuals, the groups, and the tradition bearers who continue to preserve and carry Bermuda's heritage. So it's For the Culture.
For the Culture. Audience, if you have any comments or questions for the minister, you can send them through. So as always, there are a wide range of events taking place across the island. What are some of the highlights people should look forward to?
Well, we are already on to May 8th today. So there's already been a week of cultural events that are going on. If you go to culture.bm, they have a full calendar on there, but I actually have the calendar up in front of me. Last week, I was very happy to take part in one of our cultural events that has become a big deal over the last couple of years, and that is the end-to-end. As you know, the charity and the money that is raised in that walk or ride, or they do a whole bunch of things now, goes to really good causes in our community. So my son and I took part in the end-to-end, and that was last week, Saturday. That has become part of our culture, and that is on the cultural calendar. There's events that are going on every day. And if you go on there, you can see different talks, different symposiums. We have a cultural conference that's coming up later this month. And obviously, the big event of Cultural Month and Heritage Month is on May 22nd this year, May 22nd, and that is the Bermuda Day Parade, Heritage Day Parade. Some people still call it the May 24th Parade. But yes.
Indeed. Beyond the celebrations, though, why do you believe, as minister of such an important ministry, why is it so important for Bermudians, especially younger generations, to understand and engage with our heritage?
Well, it's important, right? Because understanding our heritage is very important. Younger Bermudians need to recognize the stories that have been told. They need to recognize the sacrifices and the traditions that have shaped us to get to this point. And once you recognize that, it gives you a stronger sense of identity, a stronger sense of belonging as to what does it actually mean to be Bermudian, right? I was going through a drawer of mine in my house yesterday, and I came across the book Bermudian Words, right? And it just made me smile because I remember taking that book. It's been around for years, over to college with me, and just sitting around with friends overseas and going through some of the lingo that we as Bermudians, have kind of grown up with. Also, cultures about preserving our past, carrying new traditions, whether it be music, whether it be dance, whether it be the arts. All of that is important. And as a former educator, I can tell you that when young people engage in their heritage, they become more connected to their community and they become more confident in representing Bermuda. Just 2 days ago, I had an interview with a young lady who goes to the Berkeley Institute, and she's doing a course that was actually started when I was an educator. The course is called Preserving Our Heritage. And she had some questions for me asking about heritage, asking about different cultural traditions. And it was really, really, really heartwarming to know that I've been out of the classroom for 10 years now. And to know that those traditions and that course is still being taught in our local school system, and to know that there are students in our system that are still understanding and enjoying what it means to actually preserve our heritage. So it's actually really, really important beyond the celebrations that you recognize why heritage, why culture is important.
Audience, if you have any questions or comments, you can send them through. You kind of touched on all of it, but Heritage Month in particular often does blend the culture, history, and identity. But how do these elements come together to strengthen community, that sense of community that some people feel like is no longer there in Bermuda?
Well, it's interesting, right? One of our Heritage Month events is a documentary that was done on Ruth Thomas. And she puts it actually really well when she says that Bermuda's culture is her people and their way of living. All right. So that's how she says it. But you really see that. And it shines through Heritage Month when people come together, whether through music, whether through dance, food, storytelling, all of that. It reminds us that while our backgrounds, our experience may be different, it's the Bermudian shared identity that connects us all. And I mean, we could even have little stories, right, about this time of year. It's the city of Hamilton is rife with individuals saving their spots, right? I don't think there's a piece of sidewalk in the city of Hamilton where the parade route goes now that you will not be able to see tape. I'm sure Hartman is down somewhere, but there's tape down. And even if someone gets there and you say, well, that was my tape, well, our tape is here, and we usually take this space, and on May 22nd, you will get there and you will see that even people that put tape on top of somebody else's tape will be sitting next to each other. They'll be sharing chicken, coleslaw, and any other peas and rice, and maybe even a beverage, because they recognize that, that's part of our heritage and that's part of our culture, that we all come together and enjoy what culture has to offer.
You actually answered the question Dorian just asked, Morning Minister, how do you feel about folks that claim spots? But since he asked it and you mentioned it, I'm going to say someone had a post the other day. I don't know who, but they were saying, I want to take my family and enjoy this like Front Street or Cedar Avenue one year, but people are so aggressive. Like this has always been their spot. I always thought it was like a funny, great thing, but now, over the years, people seem to be getting a bit more serious, like, oh no, and it's led to certain things. I mean, any thoughts on that?
Well, maybe you should try it. Just take your chair, take a shareable dish with you, and pull up on someone's spot and say, hey, listen, I couldn't find a spot, but I really want to watch the parade. Can we hang out with you today? This is what we have to offer. You will be surprised that individuals would bring you in and say, yes, please join us. Because the one thing about Bermudians, we are very, very happy to share our culture. Bermudians are happy to get along. And it's interesting you say that, because I, don't really recall hearing the Bermuda culture being an aggressive one, right? You've also always heard sometimes that people say, well, look, Bermudians are too nice. So I don't know. I think people are making more of it that needs to be made. It is something that has become what is over the years. And it's not about that there are not available spots. It is preferred spots that people like over the other, right? If you and your grandmother has been going somewhere since 1985, you feel that this is what we're used to. This is what we do. But as you can see, once a parade route has moved over the years, some people don't have that option. Well, we've been in this spot for 15 years. Well, that's fine. If you sit there today, you won't see the parade. So they have to adapt. They have to adjust. They have to go and find a different spot and find to watch the parade from a different vantage point. So we've seen that happen over the years as well. So I'm not too concerned over that. I'm not putting too much into it. I just love walking the parade route and seeing that Bermudians are having a really good time. They're enjoying each other's company. It's a day off. It's a day to relax. It's a day to celebrate. And it's a day to be happy. I cannot tell you the amount of pride that I felt as a father watching my daughter. I mean, it had to be probably at least 5 years ago now, maybe even longer. When my daughter participated in the parade, she danced for UDP one year, and the sense of pride and accomplishment she had, and how that transferred over to me as a father and her family members. It's amazing. So I'm sure that when you have family members that have gombe dancers in, they have flute makers and everything else in it, it's that sense of pride and belonging.
Trinette Sumner says, any talks on renting spots? Just asking, as it's been a topic on social media recently. Well, we've had this conversation, actually, that question on this show the last 4 years. We've spoken about that. How it would be a great opportunity for the city of Hamilton in particular to maybe rent out spots. And I remember the last couple of years we've had that convo on this show. People were like, no, we're already paying for enough in Bermuda. We don't need to be paying for spots as well. But that's a question that we've had on this show for the last few years. But what are your thoughts on something like that?
Absolutely not. I'll keep it very simple. No, I don't think that we should go that route. The administrative process that someone would have to take on to go through that, it's not something that I would like to take on. And I'm sure with a new mayor, Mr. Branco, I maybe somebody could put that to him, but I would not be in favor of going that route.
Based on the responses from this audience the last couple of years, while I appreciate and understand, it's like cop match, right? You got people who saying, "Oh, I've been trying to get a spot at cop match for years. There's only so many spots, and people got to come out." You see how it works with that. It might be very difficult to actually police this because it's so different. Cop matches is one tight location. You're talking about streets of Hamilton. How do you measure it? I mean, do they even have people to do it? It's a lot to it. As far as the parade, just want to stick to that real quickly. Last year, you had a big surprise for us.
I did.
Anything that, might be a big surprise that you can kind of give us some, ideas about today?
Yeah, well, traditionally, there are always surprises in the Heritage Day Parade. I remember as a student at the Barclay Institute, one of the biggest kept secrets amongst, especially the females, what was coming up was what color their dance group was going to wear or what their costumes looked like, right? You could never tell anybody, whether it was PCC at the time, PHC, Workmen's. It was a major secret as to what your costumes will look like. So there are always going to be surprises. But last year, the big surprise was the soca truck. I'm happy to report and announce that it will be back this year. It seemed like it was a big hit. Bermudians were understanding, they were respectful of it. So it will be back at the end of the parade. We managed to do a soca truck, as well as keep the tradition of the gombes finishing the parade, and the soca truck kind of comes in as kind of an after party per se, if you would like. So that will be back. We will be having free fun castles for the kids. I'm not sure exactly where it be located, but I have been informed that it will be a free fun castle. If you have a young one, they're not going to want to sit there for the entire day, maybe to watch the parade go by. So there will be some entertainment outside of the traditional parade for young people. And we look forward to seeing everyone there. Currently, we have about 65 individuals that have entered the parade, and a few more. But I will say this, Mr. Hartman, there is a surprise that I will not be saying. And it is in the realm of sport. So there will be a surprise in sport. And also, I have not announced the Grand Marshals yet. So that will be a surprise that will be coming in the coming weeks. So it's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to look forward to, but there we have it.
Can you do two things really quickly? Because this question is asked every year. What is the Grand Marshal like, and how are they chosen?
Okay, the Grand Marshals are individuals that, especially now, they have done something significant in Bermuda, and they are a significant part of Bermuda's culture. With the ministry now incorporating tourism, transport, culture, and sport, I now have the ability to choose Grand Marshals from anywhere in those kind of pockets in Bermuda, and it's an honor. It's an honor to be a Grand Marshal in the parade. They are chosen by a group in the Department of Culture. Sorry, they are not chosen. They are nominated by a group in the Department of Culture. They put a list in front of me. I review them, and the choice is mine. So it is a ministerial decision as to who the Grand Marshals are, but there are individuals in the Department of Culture that come up with these. There are people that write in every year and say, I believe that so-and-so should be a Grand Marshal. And I say, well, thank you. It may be a little late this year, but we may consider it for next year. So there's a lot of considerations go into it. It gives us a chance to record the biographies of individuals, add more to our database, and all the Grand Marshals that we've ever had, and the ones that we will have this year, their biographies are able to be found on culture.bm. So it's not something that we take lightly, but it is the ultimate decision does come down to me. I remember one year they said we only could have 4 Grand Marshals, and I said, well, why? They said, well, we traditionally only have 4. I said, well, I think that this 5th person should be included. So one year we did have 5 Grand Marshals. You remember Glenn Jones was a Grand Marshal last year. He was asked to be a Grand Marshal the year before that. And Glenn reached out. He says, listen, I really, it's an honor to be selected as a Grand Marshal. However, I'm busy. So they said, we'll roll it over to next year. That was one example. There's sometimes that we have Grand Marshals who are family members year on year, and that's just kind of random how it goes. One year, I think we had Patrina O'Connor as a Grand Marshal, and the next year we had her grandfather as a Grand Marshal. And I think the year after that may have been her uncle as a Grand Marshal. But it was just a coincidence, right?
Yes.
So, I don't know. Have you ever been a Grand Marshal, Jamal?
No.
There you go.
The funny thing is, I saw someone sent that they were looking for marshals, I guess, for this parade. And I was like, oh, you mean like the volunteer ones? Because I'm like, they don't look for Grand Marshals. There's
parade. I would call them parade handlers, parade security. That's a real different category. Do not get that confused. No, you are not going to get. I think they had a price attached to it. No, we are not paying you to be a Grand Marshal in the parade.
Clarity is important in this day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they were looking for 40 people. We are definitely not looking for 40 Grand Marshals.
Yeah. Okay. So real quickly, we've got to remind some folks tuned in late. Anika de Shields just asking, what is the theme of Bermuda Day, known or released? You can tell her it's for the culture, not for the culture, right, Minister?
Hey, but whatever you want to say it. I like how you say it, for the culture. But it is for the culture. We released the theme back in November, I believe it was. So we released the theme in enough time. And the reason why we do that is to allow float builders, allow the dance groups and anyone else, any other community organization that is entering floats or submission into the parade to have it connect to their theme. So we released the actual theme in November. We've had some very interesting themes over the last couple of years, right? Culture equals energy was a good one for the culture, cultural renaissance. And then last year's one was, I think, one about the future or something, right? We're very excited.
I want to ask the audience, do you attend the parade in person, or is it something you stream? Because I know a lot of people, especially with so many Bermudians living overseas now, have been streaming over the last couple of years. You can confirm that it will be streamed again on CITV?
Yes, it will be streamed. You have some very interesting interviews there. I think last year it was Tina Evans was doing it along with
Gavin.
Gavin from Chew Stick. They do a good job every year. And you will see me have an interview there, probably the premier, maybe the governor, and a few others throughout the day. So if you are unable to be in Bermuda, if you're unable to get out, one year it rained really heavily and we continued on the parade. If you did not want to come out in the rain, if you do not want to come out in the sunshine, CITV will cover all of the highlights of it. So we're grateful for them. Obviously, they are working on their holiday. So we are grateful that they are able to share the energy and share all of the excitement of our cultural and our heritage of the area.
Indeed. I just want to go back, transition back to the heritage part, because in a rapidly changing world, how do we ensure that traditions and historical knowledge are preserved while still evolving as a society? Like we seem, in Bermuda, I just remember around Good Friday, so many people were talking about, man, when we were growing up, kites were lit up with skies, and now it's like there's no one flying them. Like, how do we hold on to our tradition?
Well, that is up to us, Jamal. And I will tell you this: I had an experience, and I'll just tell this story. I was very fortunate that I had men in my life, my father, my uncle, and others who were very much into making kites, and that is something that we did. When it got close to April, I was taught at a very young age how to make a traditional Bermuda kite. And now in my daily life, and I was a teacher, and I was now that I'm in this role, it's very difficult to find the time. And I'm like, every year the weather's not good, it's no wind, but I have made it a point every single year to make sure that I continue to make a kite. Most years, I make the kite. I don't fly it because there's no wind or whatnot, but I want to make sure that I keep the tradition alive, that my children can see that every year, this is what we do traditionally as to making a kite. When I built my house many years ago, I made sure that there were features in my house, on my house from the outside that continued to keep alive the Bermuda traditional architecture. So on a section of my house, I have the push-out blinds. I have a section where they have the welcoming arm steps. And it's very important that when we see these traditions, and I'm just talking about architecture, I've talked about kites, but even cooking, make sure that there are people in your family that continue to be able to teach and pass along the Bermuda cuisine traditions. It's fun to me to hear individuals arguing over their cassava pie recipes or their fish cake recipes or their hot cross bun recipes or what they do put in their gingerbread or do not put in their peas and rice. So it's important. And what we are doing in the Department of Culture is that we have gone out and we found tradition bearers, people like Milton Hill, people like Mr. Larry Mills, people like Miss Ronnie Chameau, to make sure that we bring them in. Miss Virgil, she used to be Miss Warner, Miss Janice Warner Virgil now. She used to make the Gombe costume. She now makes the Bermuda Gombe dolls. And I have one here in my office. It is what the Bermuda Department of Culture has recognized that we can't just leave it up to families to say, you know what, you pass this down. We've made efforts to engage individuals in the community and bring them in so that those traditions are not lost and they are passed on. So, if you are unfortunate where, your family members are not passing them on, you can go on to Bermuda culture.bm, and we have individuals that are passing those on. Even younger individuals like Shawande Butterfield, who's going out and doing his Gombe talks. That's important because, if we're not talking about it, if we're not showing it, then it will be lost. So we are doing all that we can, but it is up to us as Bermudians to even do more.
Indeed, Minister. And before you had a final question, for those who tuned in right now who want to take part, what would you say to encourage them to get involved and truly experience all that Heritage Month has to offer this year?
Well, all the information, again, is on culture.bm. It is there. I want to give a shout out to the Director of Culture, Ms. Carly Lodge. She is just back from being on leave. So she's jumped right into Heritage Month, and her staff that she has and everyone working in the Department of Culture, they do an excellent job. So when you see them on the road on May 22nd, just tell them thank you, tell them good job for the work that they have done, because although that is their job, the late hours, the extra time that they are putting in to make sure that culture is truly brought to life on Heritage Day is something that they go beyond, far and beyond over what their job is. It is a labor of love for them, because they truly and honestly believe in what they are doing to preserve our culture and to, as you say, transfer that culture on. So culture.bm, you'll get all the information. If you cannot get there, send an email. It is not too late to participate. And if you are not participating, I'm going to ask everyone who is on side to please respect the directions of the security and the marshals. Not only are they doing things to help the parade flow along, but they are doing it to keep all Bermudians safe. So I would just like to say that as a public service announcement to please, I understand that everybody's there and everyone has their traditions. Everybody wants to get in the middle of the road and take pictures of their family members, but there are big trucks on the road. There are individuals that are been performing for you in the hot sun. It's very, very important that we listen and follow all instructions that are given by everyone.
Indeed. One last question from the audience. Mark Arthur's asking, good morning, Minister Darrell. How do how do you all establish the theme for Heritage Month?
Well, again, it's a discussion that is taking place in the Department of Culture. We have many themes. Again, I think this year maybe about 5 different themes came in front of me. I go through them. I say them in my head. I'm like, which one? And then they also have meanings that are with them. So it is, again, the Department of Culture comes with some recommendations and is a decision that is ultimately made by the minister.
All righty, Minister Darrell, thank you so much for your time. All the best to you and everyone at the Department of Culture during this Heritage Month. It doesn't end there, because you've got a lot of things for the next couple months that you support. The Bermuda National Heroes Day weekend. You've got
We've got the Smash cricket tournament that is starting to come alive. So Smash is coming along in May, and then we've got Bermuda Carnival weekend that's coming. We've got Heritage National Heroes Month. Then we move into county game. Please do not skip over county game before you get cup match, because there are the champions, the holders, Cleveland County Cricket Club, open up against, I think we play Bayless Bay first, Mr. Hartman. So please do not skip past that. That is on July the 18th, to make sure that you are there at St. Lord's and St. David's. And then we will get to cup match after that, sir.
I appreciate you, Minister. I appreciate the correction. My heart was broken. The minister's team broke my heart last year, folks.
Absolutely. So if you want, I was just at cricket training last night as young Oliver Darrell has now come through and is coming through the ranks of Cleveland County. And they have plenty blue hats for you, Mr. Hartman, if you would like for me to graciously purchase one for you, and you could put it right on your shoulder during the next show.
Minister, I'm consistent with my sports teams. All of them were red. Manchester United, North Village, Bayless Bay, Atlanta Braves. They all were red. No blue happening up top. St. George's, they got lucky for 2 days of the year. 2 days of the year. Minister, have a wonderful day. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, Jamel, and thank you. Have a good day to your listeners.
All right, Minister Owen Darrell, folks, if you appreciated the discussion, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, I'll give my final thoughts on this morning's discussion and our daily focus with the minister. But we will also, we've got a daily play for you that I didn't know the answer to. And I want to know if you all get it. I want to see if you all get it. Stick with us. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, 16 seconds. Stick with us.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's loan guarantee program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Bermuda, there's nothing like a home-cooked meal, especially when you can feed the whole family without stretching your wallet. With the affordable Bermuda basket, you'll find savings on everyday staples like rice, chicken, corn, and more. Everything you need to make a good meal for less. Shop the Bermuda basket at Lindo's, Marketplace, the Garden Market, and the English Market. Visit costofliving.gov.bm to see the full list of goods and start planning your meals. This is a message from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Life moves fast, and so can the unexpected. When you insure your home, you need to know that your insurance company has your back. At Friesenbrook, let one of our friendly and professional agents give you that peace of mind. Because when you are covered, you are confident. Call us at 296-3600 or visit friesenbrook.bm to learn more.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, I'm having an issue here, right? I'm having this issue. I'm going to tell you what it is. So remember how I told you I have the iPad right here to my left? Well, for some reason lately, and this is why I don't do Apple products. This is why I keep Apple products separately. So I have an Android. Like, just don't do iPhone. I don't like my stuff linked. I just think that's weird. But anyway, the mouse keeps going from my computer to my iPad, right? And so I'm like yanking and yanking, trying to bring it back over. Why does it do that? Like, I'm not technologically inclined, but if you know the answer. But anyway, thank you for rocking with us again. Big up, and thank you to the Minister of Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport. I'm getting it done after all these years, right? But so long. But really appreciate Owen Darrell making time to come on and discuss Heritage Month with us. Folks, if you haven't already, make sure you give us some love on whatever social media platform you are streaming on. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, today's question has absolutely nothing to do with Bermuda. No, it doesn't. It's things you should know, though. All right. On a couple's golden anniversary, how many years of marriage are celebrated? I thought that was easy. Mark Arthur says 50. Shawnette Sumner says 50. Judith Rowe says 50. Suzanne Ingham says 50. Anika the Shields says 50. That better have been easy. I want to ask you, I want to get in you all's pocket real quickly. How many of you, anyone in this audience today who has experienced 50 years of marriage? Has anyone in this audience today experienced 50 years of marriage? If you have, let us know. Shawnette Sumner says, my parents had one 2 years ago. Whoa, awesome. Sherilyn Johnson also said 50, but is there anyone, do you know of anyone celebrate 50 years of marriage? That's a long time, man. That's love. That is love. All right. Let's see. I just want to share a couple things. I want to give a birthday shout out to Alrita Wade. I know she tunes in. She doesn't comment. Well, she commented the other day, Remy coming on, but just a big birthday shout out to her. I celebrated her birthday yesterday. I got a call yesterday. So me and my two best friends, right? We don't talk all the time. We probably talk on the phone once every other month, but we're guys. We're like that. Check up on each other. I got a call from one of my best friends yesterday. And we just got on the phone and we're shooting the breeze. something told me this is not why he called me. And as we went through that conversation, he said to me, yeah, so my mother passed as I was on my way to her. And I just stopped. He didn't know what to say. And, we had a real heavy conversation. He said, he doesn't know how to feel. We spoke about people reaching out, and so on, without getting into much detail. And I want to say this: when my mom passed in 2022, it was a bit overwhelming. I don't get to respond to text like most people anyway, because I just don't have the capacity. But it's heavy, and everyone deals with things so differently. I try to respect that. But I understood him in his time of grief, where he just didn't want to talk to people. And we have to respect that. We have to, everyone doesn't grieve the same. Now, I'm glad that he, reached out to me and told me. Unfortunately, for him being in transit to see his mom and not being able to get to her as she passed was relatable, because I had left Bermuda and my mom passed about probably less than 10 days later. I know what it feels like. It's relatable. And so I just want to say, I was going to give you a daily inspiration. I want to leave you with these words today. Give people grace. Give people space. Because you just never know what they're going through and how they deal with what they're going through. It's a respect thing. It's a human thing. So give people grace. All right, folks. Let's get back to, I want to give my final thoughts on this morning's discussion. There are laws in place for a reason. And as the current premier and leader of Bermuda once said to me, well, Jamal, come on, Hartman. Not all laws are bad. I don't disagree with him. Not all laws are bad. In fact, laws should be written for our protection, our health, our safety. And when we go into places and spaces or jurisdictions, it is our responsibility to do our due diligence to ensure that we are abiding by the laws of those lands. I am concerned in what's happened with 2 visitors in Bermuda over the last 2 days. I'm concerned about the security of our borders. I'm concerned about what seems like biased sentencing. We have got to ensure that this does not become a regular occurrence. If that means putting Bermuda Customs Border Patrol wherever these ships are leaving from, then I am all for it. Illegal guns in Bermuda have wreaked havoc on our society. We cannot afford to have more of these things entering our shores. As far as the conversation with the Honorable Minister Owen Darrell about Heritage Month, I agree with the Minister. It is our responsibility to keep our heritage, our traditions going. Keep them alive and pass them on to the generations coming behind us. If not us, then who? There are so many ways to enjoy our heritage. My hope is that this month, during Heritage Month, everyone will find something to enjoy, to share, and to love about Bermuda culture and heritage. Trust me, it's enough for us all to enjoy. All right, folks. Again, I'm not going to give a daily inspiration right now because I kind of wanted to leave you with what I said earlier. All right, so just trying to get my mouse back, folks. Don't mind me. All right, here we go. All right, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. Sorry, on Tuesday. On Tuesday. No show on Monday, and obviously no show on the weekend. On Tuesday, I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. We are out. Peace.